What is going on, everybody? This is Antonius the Gamer here, back with another episode of the Press Start Select podcast. I am joined by my two co-hosts, Super SSX Rank and Mikkel Smith. Fellas, we have not one, but two showcases to discuss, a lot of games announced, a lot of topics to kind of address. So we'll just get right into it like we usually do. And I think we'll work our way backwards this time. We'll switch up the format a little bit. So we'll start off with the Xbox Showcase. Now, the Xbox Showcase has had the internet in the frenzy for at least the past 48 hours. Everyone's talking about Xbox back. All I'm seeing is the green and black logos everywhere. People toasting in triumph, champagne glasses in the air. Phil Spencer walked out with the exaggerated swagger of a CEO who didn't just shut down two studios. And I gotta ask you guys, let's start with Big Philly. How did we feel about Phil Spencer's interview with IGN and some of the things that he was saying?
I say it's corporate politics. You gotta, yeah, it's very difficult to navigate at times, but overall, like it still doesn't get him off the hook, in my opinion, because I do feel like this gaming community, we still do have great memories, and then one thing you got to realize, these are still promises not delivered as of yet. These are still things that are still in development. So yes, you showed us a flashy trailer, but we've learned this lesson multiple times. Unless that game is downloaded on my system right now,
Right.
you did not
Until it says
deliver.
available now.
You did not deliver anything. So everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. Everything.
Okay.
And you also got to really think about we've spoken about this before, the working conditions of these companies, bro, because you could wake up tomorrow and you get that notification on your phone, oh, the lead game designer has left the building.
Mm.
So these are all, there's multiple factors here at play, man, but like I said, it was corporate politics. He had to deliver, to give some faith to the people. But overall, you as a consumer, you got to be smart about it. You got to be very watchful. You got to be very vigilant. And, just like how these games are investments, you got to keep on top of it. You got to read the forums and really know what is happening to the state of your investment.
Okay. Joy, what about you? What are some of your initial thoughts about what Phil Spencer had to say?
I was a little bit I wanted him to go into depth, just say, why those studios closed, but back to Tim's point. He avoided questions. He didn't answer directly, but he at the same time, talking to a buddy of mine, he pointed out that he also shut down any speculation. So, for example, like the situation with certain games going into PlayStation, but I'm like, okay, him purchasing Blizzard, not for a second, I didn't think he was gonna make Call of Duty go exclusive.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense, right?
Right.
It's on mobile already. Mobile already. You already have a network of pool. Why would you close that pool? It's a business's like Minecraft, right? You can get Minecraft on the PlayStation. Me as a business owner, why would I just cut off a bunch of gamers that like the product just for exclusivity, right? Not everybody's gonna buy Minecraft on Xbox, right? But I'll have a greater pool if I keep those things open. Sea of Thieves going to PlayStation didn't bother me, right? Because I'm like, Sea of Thieves is the type of game you would want to be on all platforms. I just feel those games are it's more like a Monster Hunter game. Monster Hunter game being, even though that's not an Xbox exclusive, it benefits to have crossplay. You get what I'm saying? Like, why would you want these groups of people to be separated? You get what I'm saying? So for me, I think that's a plus as far as thinking about the consumer. I'm like, we're just gonna make it. You're gonna have to get our system. Those pools are already too wide. That's why you would make a purchase like that. You purchase it to keep the pool wide, right? So then those can fund what you want to build, exclusively, right? I think that's cool. Like MLB The Show is both on PlayStation and now it's on Xbox, right?
Yeah.
That was mainly because the MLB people were like, listen, we're not going to just funnel just through one. We're not gonna have one canal open. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hey, Sony, we're gonna put it here. So that was a more of a forceful play. But I think those things like that makes sense. Something like Grounded. Those games are kind of like ecosystem based games from the way they're almost constructed. But like Doom being on, Doom was already on the PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't an exclusive like that. So why would I all of a sudden just do that? Right? You would I felt like you would do more harm than good, right? Versus
Well, I
yeah,
agree with you, right? I
yeah.
think what you said about the things on multi-platform was good. I think that, again, I think there's a lot of ways in which Phil Spencer shows himself as a very competent overhead, right? In terms of things that he's willing to let go for the greater health of like the Xbox ecosystem. I think for me, the three things that stood out was one, did you guys believe that he has as much freedom over Xbox the way he said he did when they asked him about that in an interview? The second thing I wanted to know was what your guys' thoughts about the way he kind of uh, took ownership of like the closing of those three studios was more of a me decision, a hard business decision that I had to make as the owner of this company. And what did you guys feel about like how he kind of hinted ever so slightly about the Xbox handheld rumors? Like, what was your guys' thoughts on that? Because I was more
Um,
surprised that he even came out to say all these things as confidently as he did, given everything that was going on.
with the I again, I don't know. I think okay, with those studios closing, I think it was mainly because they did not have the funds to keep them open, in the sense of they didn't reach a threshold they probably wanted, and because they probably borrowed money from Microsoft to do said things, and they didn't reach the margins. That was probably part of the deal.
Hmm.
Very odd, right? Very odd choices, but at the same time, maybe he kind of closed these studios down. Um, he probably Here's what I'm anticipating. There's a thing where companies, they will fire you only to hire you back again in a strange way. I don't know what the term is for it, but I suspect that's what's going on, because this isn't the first time.
Downsizing, cutting of budgets and payroll. But keep going.
Yeah, yeah. This is because
Usually not good.
I think Whole Foods did it a couple of times to where they would cut somebody like, "Hey, listen, we don't have enough room for you. We'll let you go," and then they'll call this person right back, and they'll be that within 3, 4, 5 months. I will suspect that they probably gave him an email. Hey guys, apply to this position, and most likely you'll get it. Right? Let's just hypothetically. I don't know.
Hmm.
Him saying that he had to close down those studios, somewhat I kind of somewhat believe him, and I kind of somewhat don't. All because they just fought so well. They came with the acquisition. It's not like they bought specifically. They came with the Activision deal.
Hmm.
So maybe there were things already in plan that he already had in mind, that he was already willing to do in case the worst case scenario comes up, that they don't reach the margins that they were expecting to after making the purchase as quick as they'd wanted to.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe he already had that in mind. Okay, listen, I gotta make this, buddy. If Game Pass does not make the money, or the purchase doesn't make the money, or even makes the money at the time that we need to, then this is what's gonna take place. Him hinting the handheld, it was kind of obvious, right? Sarah Bond already kind of said that we have technology that we haven't even seen before. They recently just purchased ChatGPT, codename now
Hmm.
Pilot. So I him having control as much as we thought he does, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of inner turmoil at Microsoft. I do believe Phil is a competent businessman, and he's trying to figure out a way to where everybody wins, but in the sense that he can please Microsoft, and that he can also get his vision across. So there's probably some compromises along the way,
Hmm.
and those were one of the compromises to where he can say, "Hey, see, guys, look, These are the games we're gonna focus on, only for him to kind of like while they're distracted, he's gonna build this on the side to where it gets fruition going. He has his own engine revving up to. Hey, listen, I built this engine better than what you guys were saying. Let me take it away from here. That's just what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what I see because I don't believe they have enough foresight to see even him convincing them to, hey, listen, guys, join each other. Let's make Game Pass. You know, them believing in Game Pass is also kind of odd, right? What Game Pass exists and it's actually been here for a while, and it seems to be very promising now, right? Side note: Dragon Ball Z $70 game. You know, Sparking Zero. That's yeah. Hey, listen, you can pay whatever you want to pay, or you could get it on Game Pass for a
Hmm.
subscription. And if you do, when you do have the money, you can finally make that purchase, and it won't hurt you as much. You know?
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's
Tim, let
that.
me get
You
your
know,
thoughts first before
yeah, that's
I'll,
what I'm saying.
yeah. What do you think?
I think it's a mix. I do feel like the bring back to Jory's point. I do feel like some of the studios they didn't reach a certain mark, or maybe that they also didn't really have something substantial in development that they wanted to futurely invest even more into it. Because like I said, man, we gotta really use that word a bit more now. It's an investment now. Like they use these game products as like, well, how is this? What is the return value to us for what we put out? And I feel like maybe those studios just didn't reach a certain level of trust, or maybe like, because it's a system, bro. It goes from ideas to pitches to pre-development art to maybe minor trailers and stuff like that of the current engine and things of that nature. And if these investors say like, hey, yeah, no, then yeah, you're gonna get cut. And I did feel like it was unfortunate though, because especially during that I would say that dark moment where everybody was just getting purchased left and right. Because I mean, yes,
Mm,
I do feel like exclusivity it adds a sense of flair to it, and there's a healthy way to do it. Um, like for example, PlayStation. I see a lot of legacy studios. Like they know these are studios that we've worked with since the beginning, and we have such a rich relationship with them that if you think of these games, you think of your PS2 controller or PlayStation One
mm-hmm,
and PS2 controller.
mm,
So yeah, it
mm.
makes sense. But then there was yeah, but now but then there were some studios where it was like yeah, they belong to third parties. Because now I just feel like all right, well now it's just Capcom, Ubisoft, Square Enix,
Third party company,
Square Enix, but
third
then
party company.
but it's just like it just kind of feels like something was removed, man, and you got to be very very scary of that particular space just getting consumed because it kind of I
Hmm.
feel like it makes too much changes to the ecosystem. But to get back on point, that's how I just feel about them. It was very unfortunate, man. I mean, I don't like nobody losing their jobs like that, especially after all the announcements that was made to acquire them. I just kind of feel like, well,
Right,
like it's like a life shortened. And yeah,
right.
hopefully, they do get hired. I would have felt more confidence if those resources, and when I say people, because person is a resource, that they were shifted to other studios. Give me all
Yeah.
right. If you want to close this one, fine. But then if we want to increase our workforce and to sharpen the efficiency of the other products that we got going on now, we will find you another place on this side. I would have been fine with that.
Okay. I think that would have been a healthier compromise than, hey, everyone's getting a severance. Because he said himself, like, they're getting severance packages. I'm like, oh, so people got fired for real, for real. Like, y'all didn't get reabsorbed, y'all didn't get reassigned, like, people got let go. And I think to to your guys' points, I think it's true. I think we're seeing the cold hard truth of, like you said, Tim, investments, like you said, Jory, like there's a certain business expectation that's set that has to be met no matter what. I think the unfortunate thing on two sides. obviously besides the people losing their jobs, is one, to what you said earlier, talking about like you think of a legacy studio, you think of a game, you remember and associate it with a certain controller or a certain system. I'm like, Xbox has been kind of scrambling for a new IP for this generation. So it's like you have a success, you have your own original IP in Hi-Fi Rush. You have something that will forever be associated with the Xbox Series X, and you shut it down. There is no Hi-Fi Rush 2 on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, it will be associated in that way as like a one and done because of you, right? Again, might have been a tough business decision, but I'm like, a lot of the things that we're about to get into when it comes to game announcements for Xbox are all legacy titles. It's a sequel to this. It's a prequel to that. It's all these IPs that we've already associated Xbox with from previous generations ago. So to me, it's like your first real win on this console cycle, and the IP is terminated. And then two, it kind of just feels like, is this the beginning of the Phil Spencer distancing arc? And when I say that, I mean like, again, he's always had the reputation of kind of being 10 toes on the ground. I'm more like, hey, I'm a game CEO that games as well. And now it's like, well, I had to make these hard decisions and I had to do what's best for the company. It starts to feel like, is this where that disassociation begins of like, we get to see more and more of Phil the CEO and less of Phil like the relatable gamer that wants Xbox to have great games. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of felt that way to me. As far as like, I don't see how this is. Again, I was just more surprised. Like, how do you come out here looking as confident as you did, off the strength of what's been happening with y'all the past couple of weeks? How does Sarah Bond come out with a little short announcement of like, hey guys, this fall we are announcing Xbox all digital everything in all white. That's right. Xbox One, Xbox Series X for the 2 terabyte internal system with no space for a physical disc. Doubling down on some of the rumors and some of the fears that people had about, Xbox getting to the cloud space. There's certain things where it's like, the handheld would have kind of offset some of that announcement to me, as opposed to like, hey, all those things you guys are worried about us going cloud, it's coming.
They
It's coming.
they have two digital systems, and the terabyte one has a disk slot.
You sure?
Yeah, it does. I looked
I
at it.
feel like it
No,
wasn't.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because like I thought the 2 terabyte one was a diskless one as well.
No, it has a disk slot. I looked at it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
the Galaxy.
okay. I
Yeah,
stand corrected,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it does. You know what I'm saying? Like versus with Sony, where it's like, yeah, we have a digital version, but you can still buy this admittedly overpriced external add-on for a physical disc.
Yeah. That's wild. But no, yeah. There's the white one, which looks nice, by the way.
It does. It's a great.
It's
The design on it looks a lot better for
yeah.
sure.
Which is beautiful, by the way. But the Series X, the Galaxy one, is
Still
has
a
a
disc.
disc.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was just how I felt about it. I wanted to kind of get your guys' thought. It's just, I just thought it was, again, I always commend Phil for coming out and putting, a face to and at least answering to some degree some of these questions. But it did just kind of feel like, what are you celebrating, sir? Like, some families are going to have a really rough summer and rough fall and rough Christmas because of your hard decisions that you had to make. So it's just like, it felt a little like, all right, this is the corporate speak. This is the villain arc, so to speak, of the disconnect. But to get more into like the Xbox announcements themselves, right? We had a load of games that were announced over the Xbox showcase. I made a list of a couple ones that were a little bit notable. We had some gameplay footage of the Indiana Jones game,
Mm-hmm.
some gameplay footage of the Fable game, the announcement of a Perfect Dark reboot,
Not bad.
some new, not bad,
Not bad
yeah,
from what I
not
saw. I
bad.
was like, oh, this is good direction. It needs to look more
Some
perfect
new,
dark, but it was good.
it's an initial trailer, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I thought you guys were getting Mirror's Edge. To be honest with you, I was like, oh, they're getting Mirror's Edge. Like Perfect Dark, I was like, huh? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
um, What else? There was Starfield DLC announced, some original IPs within mixtape, as well as South of Midnight,
That was
Stalker
fire.
2, and it was,
Well
as well
written.
as Avowed. So let's just kind of go, and of course, how can we forget God of War? I was like, not God of War, Gears of War prequel. But let's work our way down the list. So let's start off Indiana Jones, fellas. How do we feel about what we saw?
You guys, you already know how I feel about Indiana Jones, fam.
I mean, it was a.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw the trailer and thought about you, bro. I was like, he was right.
I mean, it was a.
So
It
it's
was a
just-
very good. It was a very cool cutscene trailer. To see a lot of the world, the different places that he's going to. Like, yes, of course, it gives heavy Uncharted vibes, but I just do still feel the combat. Like, okay, you shift to first person. I still feel like that kind of just destroys the momentum for me. Like, that's too much switching back and forth, bro.
I agree.
It's too much. It's too much switching back and forth because I'm even thinking about it like even the part where when he was facing the villains outside the boat in the little Arctic mountain, like I was just thinking about it like imagine like going from that cutscene to shifting to first person, and then next it feels like a Call of Duty scene where you're doing
Yeah,
this, you're doing that, and it's just I just kind of feel like it that destroys the pacing. But
the Echo.
I do feel like the story narrative will deliver. But like I said, it's
Mhm.
just that's a turn off for
The
me.
echo that kept playing in my
Well,
head throughout the
he
whole
he
trailer was Joy's words. Your words of like, what's the point of taking all that time to get Indiana Jones likeness perfect in a third person cutscene just to switch to a first person whip? I was like, this just looks so odd. Like, what was the point? It's like Indiana Jones VR almost.
You know what but you just made a valid point. Maybe it was originally supposed to be VR, because remember, a perfect example was that Star Wars Rogue Squadron. That last game on the Squadron one. Like I remember watching playing that as just like I feel like this should have been a VR title. Like the story was very very hollow. You could tell everything was so focused about the dog fighting, even like the customization of like your cockpit and the plane. It's like yeah, this was definitely meant to be a VR title that they just kind of tweaked it a little bit to expand it. Like oh yeah, full price game, buy it. And I feel like
Mm,
that's probably what this game was. Because it's like, all right, because if you take things out of third person, well, first person, then that means you got to incorporate more third person mechanics, like
hmm
climbing mechanics, combat mechanics, like how is he going to fight, and all that other stuff. And then remember, it goes back to what we said: resources, man. Like to build a whole system like that, bro. They're
yeah,
probably on a
you
time
right,
crunch. They're probably on a time crunch.
you
mm.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Wait, because
That makes sense,
actually, because
though.
this makes me
That
think
makes
like, is
sense.
anything Indiana Jones media related coming out soon?
The
And
movie was disintegrated. That was supposed to
Yeah,
build up the
yeah. I
momentum
think I think they
straight.
were expecting the movie to kind of carry into the game,
oh,
and
actually,
when it underperformed, it was like, oh,
yeah, and you know what? This probably was for that, and then honestly, they probably didn't want to abandon the project, and that's probably why.
yeah.
Because, like I said, bro,
But
it
that,
doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
yeah, that does make sense that maybe it was a VR experience that like they were too deep to pull out, but also couldn't pivot, which is because again that makes sense because I think in the climbing segments they said that the climbing is going to be in third person. But the combat and everything else is in first person. It's just like, what? Why? Like, why are you doing this game like this? Like, it just, I don't know. Dory, what do you think? I didn't get your thoughts on the gameplay
Okay, you got the
aspect.
ether beat ready?
Not yet. My equipment's not here.
Listen, man. So you think I care, Harrison Ford? I don't. Why? 3P, third person. That it's not in third person. It's the first person. I like the game. I played Wolfenstein. Nah, you gonna make me play in less edgier Wolfenstein?
Mm.
Wolfenstein's on the same pedestal as a Doom,
Mm.
right? If I wanted to play Doom Light, I'd play Doom Light. But guess what? You can't have Doom Light because it wouldn't be Doom. It'd be a regular game. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
man, I don't care about this game, man. Like they should have made that multi-platform. Like yo, I'm whipping in first person, then they go to third person. And I'm like, yo, y'all, this is the perfect guy to compete with Nathan Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all need a third person Nathan Drake game. This is the perfect alibi. Y'all go ahead, Crystal Skull. Y'all get y'all what if storylines. Y'all fix what they didn't do well with the movie, and y'all change it to give the game more more popularity, more of a pull in to get people like, yo, listen, we didn't get the movie we wanted from Indiana Jones, but hey, I just so happen to be a person who likes movies and games. Boom, let me go for it. Man, there's not another
Mm.
Uncharted game. I ain't gonna lie, man. Indiana Jones did inspire Uncharted. Okay, guys, can't you tell?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is gonna scratch an itch,
There's a
man.
void here. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Good
then
point.
and then
Good point.
the memes would have done the rest, right? How many memes have
Mm-hmm.
we seen where the guy was doing the and then Harrison Ford pulls up? You would have had the perfect meme. Like you guys don't the
Mm-hmm.
people would have memed the thing into existence, into another level of
Mm-hmm.
finances. It just sucks that like yo, okay, it's just showing me that people don't really care about the big name IPs are now losing credibility. Like, oh, Marvel's dropping a new game? Who cares? Capcom's dropping a new game. I'd rather get that.
Mm.
Cause now they're not it's too corporate now. There's no artistic passion. Like I guess with the Rivals game, right? There was an artistic style. They weren't going for this realistic. Like, okay, that's great. That's great that you got Black Panther to look just like the guy who plays the voice of Cyborg in Teen Titans. Two thumbs up.
Mm.
But from how I saw him running, I don't want to play as human being running at 25 miles an hour.
Mm.
It's just not. I don't care. I don't play games to play human simulators. The realisms and physics is cool, but I don't care about that. You think I care about how well I mean, I don't, right? In a sense that
Mm.
if it's going to diminish the overall enjoyment of the game, keep it away from me, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Keep it away from
Do,
me.
do you guys feel like there's maybe, and we'll move on because again, there's a lot more games to
Yeah,
cover. Do you guys feel like there might have been an over reliance on the Indiana Jones IP? You know, where it's like they're allowing maybe like because again, like RoboCop, right? The game came out last year and it did really well. It was
yeah,
received really well,
yeah.
sold very well,
Yeah.
and there's like like the '80s babies and '90s babies came to appreciate the RoboCop game, and Indiana Jones was always bigger than RoboCop. So you think maybe there was that overestimation of like, well, it's Indiana Jones, it's Harrison Ford. Who doesn't like Harrison Ford?
Does
Let's put
Disney
them in the game.
does Disney own Indiana Jones?
I don't think so.
I believe so because remember it's by Lucas Arts. So
Oh, right.
yeah,
There you go. There you go.
yes, yeah. So
There you
it
go.
was acquired. Yes,
The corporate interference once again. It's a pattern. It has that same bitter taste like the other games that's come out from Disney. There's like a
Hmm.
it's not quite right. A little too early. Capcom versus Marvel Infinite. Capcom versus Avengers. This
Hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the Guardians of the Galaxy hurts me so much
yes, yes. The Walt
because
Disney. Yeah, I'm
all the
sorry about
other
that.
okay, good, yeah, you good. Yeah,
Yes,
Walt Disney
yes.
owns it.
The Walt Disney Company owns the Indiana Jones intellectual property through the subsidiary Lucasfilms. Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012 for $4 billion.
There you go.
Hmm.
So now, Yeah, you can
I get what you're
see,
saying, Dory. It doesn't feel like a labor of love. You're right. I get what you're trying to say. Like, it
and
doesn't
it's
feel like I'm making this because I'm passionate about it. It's like, you need to do it.
and Mortal
Think about
Kombat
that.
suffering the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The thing with RoboCop is already free because it's already M rated, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like that's a freedom. They're not trying to publicly appease to anybody. Listen, we're gonna give you RoboCop as RoboCop is. We're gonna give you Predator as Predator is. You know what I'm saying? That Predator game shouldn't have worked, but it does, right? The Hunting
mm,
Grounds, very popular game.
mm-hmm,
I was entertained by it. Again, budget, right? Now, if they do get a budget, that game's gonna be it's very hard to beat the predator, man. Right, the stalker enemy, and then you're just running around. You know, it's already a fun game. When you even watch the movie, it's already a fun game. The movie's
mm,
orchestrated around games. The let's go to that was I actually really enjoyed that game. The Alien game, the third person Alien shooter game
mm.
that came out, where it's three versus the aliens, like the I don't know what you call it. Not a battle royale, but
Colonial Marines, yeah.
Colonial
Yeah,
Marines.
but there's a genre for it. I don't remember the name of, like, it's almost like a Dead by Daylight.
Yeah,
Like, that
yeah,
same type
yeah,
of thing
yeah,
of
yeah.
like,
Survivor horror, whatever. So,
yeah,
but
three versus
again,
one. Mm,
right? That was a very fun game, and the multiplayer one to where you got stages that you got to clear out, and they got you fighting
mm,
different types. The one that was a straight up shooter. See, those games are niche games, but they work because they're like made by people who have a passion for it, and their creative ideas aren't stopped. Right? They're actually cradled. Hey, no, this is work. This works. Let's get RoboCop. You can. It's going to be very difficult for you to beat somebody like that. It's going to be difficult for you to beat somebody who wants to make an Uncharted for the first time. You get what
mm.
I'm saying? It's no
Because
longer.
it's a labor of love.
It's a
Yeah,
labor
it's a
of
labor.
love,
It's not.
right? It's going to be
Mm,
very difficult to top God of War 2017 or 18, if I'm correct. It's going to be very
yes,
difficult.
2018.
2018,
Mm,
very difficult to top that. Why? Because they really wanted to make a new version of God of War. And there you have it. I think these companies just they kind of ruined. They do ruin the overall objective and the idea creativity.
mm.
They stifle it. So that's my thoughts,
Okay.
man.
All right. So moving on from Indiana Jones, the next one on the list was Fable. So now we know that Fable was in development. They announced it, what, almost a year ago now that they're making another Fable. It was at that point, it was strictly just a CG trailer. This particular one, we got a little bit of gameplay and a more concrete release window, not a release date, but a release window of 2025. I mean, real quick, is there any additional thoughts you guys had on that trailer that you didn't have from the first reveal of Fable?
I liked that it modernized the passion of Fable and the humor and wittiness. You can pick it up from the first trailer that they had with the giant. I would have never thought he was going to be a giant from the way they portrayed that
Mm,
trailer, and from this recent one, the humor's still there. Uh, you know,
okay.
the humor's still there, the wittiness is there, it's still there. There's a consistency in the writing when I'm watching the trailer. The gameplay looked good. Not the combat. I needed to see more from the combat, but from what I can see, you can
Hmm.
clearly see that the game has a budget. The game has and great animations. So I'm expecting the game to be fun. The interactions, talking to picking up missions. So I think it's gonna be good, man. I think it's in a good direction. It's going in a good direction. If it plays like
Yeah.
The Witcher, but the combat's fun, magic system's fun. They got a good they got a great magic system going on to where it's fun and it doesn't have to be overly complicated. But if the storylines like the other Fable to where you can alter your destiny plays a part, then they're in the right track. I like what I
Okay.
saw.
Tim, what about you? Any thoughts?
I want to jump back to a comment that you made a couple of pods back about remember when the time when everybody's like, oh yeah, bring back Crash, bring back Spyro, and they did with those updated remakes. But then in terms of sales, it's like okay, you people have been crying for this. Like I mean, I wouldn't say crying. Let me be respectful. You've been demanding this for many years. But where was that in terms of long term support? because
Mm.
and I look at because especially the crash racing. Like I think the life cycle for that, like where they just stopped doing updates for that game, was like a year. And I was like, bro, like this filled a void. Like, what do you mean you're just abandoning it? But then it goes back to who is investing into this. So in terms of this Fable, especially, it's been a while since Fable has been on the scene, man. So I'm happy it's back. And then to Joy's point, like yes, I do love the wittiness of the writing. I just hope that it's supported when it comes out long
Oh
term.
no,
Mm.
here's my thing though. With
Mm.
with the crash, I think it's the timing with the crash, right? Because there's other games that do crash better than Crash, right?
Same thing for Fable.
Yeah.
Huh?
But yeah, because the thing with Crash, right, is like Crash was confusing because like to Tim's what Tim was saying, they were demanding it, right? They do the Crash remasters basically. It sells really well, right? They do Crash 4, sells fairly well, not as good as a 3, but it sells pretty well. Then they do what is it, Crash Royal Rumble and Crash Team Racing reimagined, and they flop.
Well,
Nobody
those
cares.
those were I mean, with the Crash Team Racing, like racing games to me, I mean, guys, do you find those things to be popular if it's not Mario Kart or Forza or Gran Turismo? I'm not buying the
Yes.
crew.
That shouldn't be the case, right? Because that's the thing. It's like when we grew up, right? It was like yes, Mario Kart obviously stood a level above
Diddy
in
Kong
terms of
Racing.
mass kart racing, right? But Diddy Kong Racing existed, Crash Team Racing existed, right? There was that Nicktoons game that all the kids a little bit younger than us loved
Jack,
with the racing
even the
characters.
Jack's combat racing, bro. Like I said, it filled a void because there were people who genuinely loved those titles. Even when Little Big Planet was entering that field of things, I was like, bro, like this was really touching me. But then it's just yeah, the support, man, the support. Like yes, because yes, first of all, there are already exclusives for one, I believe. Actually, no, wait.
Mm.
Was it exclusive? I had to check back on that. But it was just a symbol of the fact is like, where's the real support
I
for?
just think it's the timing, man. The
I guess
timing
we'll
with Crash
see. I,
Bandicoot. With Fable, I think Fable's gonna be in a good because I mean, right now is a drought. Like Xbox gamers are furious, right? We all mad. You could tell we was mad because if this wasn't gonna be it, bro, everybody was gonna George Bush the button. You feel me?
yeah, but see, and the thing is with the whole drought thing, right? Like my whole thing is like again, just basing off of the online response, it's like Xbox owners are doing backflips, right? So as I was making the outline, I'm like, okay, let me go through the list of the things that they were celebrating. I'm like, okay, so we got Fable, oh, 2025. Oh, wait, there's Perfect Dark. Oh, no release date. Oh, let's see, Starfield, nobody seems to care. All right. Oh, maybe, the South of Midnight game. Oh, 2025. Okay. Mixtape 2025. So all these games that everyone's high fiving each other in the group chat on the Discords, they're not coming out this year.
Gentlemen, we already spoke about this, man. This console war is over. I mean, the console generation is done. We don't want to admit it. It is. It is. It is.
No,
It is.
this is them breathing life into it. To me, again, going back to literally our last pod, right? I think the thing is that my takeaway from this is like, again, the question that Tim asked us was, what is the thing that salvages Xbox
This
this
year.
year? This year. And all the things that everyone again is cartwheeling in the house for are 2025 at the earliest.
Black Ops is 2025.
Black Ops is a multi-platform game.
That don't
Huh?
count, bro. That don't count.
Yeah.
But
That
it's
don't
day one
count.
on Game Pass.
But that doesn't count.
That counts.
Congrats that you get to play a $70
Hey,
game
you
that we can
think
all play.
I don't care. I don't care. Indiana Jones, when's that coming
But
out?
supposedly 2024. Supposedly.
Okay.
But that's
And
already been
but
ruled
yeah,
out.
you
Oh no, definitely
exactly.
not
You
me.
tore it up.
No, I'm not gonna copy it. But I'm just saying.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at this list. I'm like, okay, you guys
No,
again.
I wasn't expecting Fable or Gears of War or that even Bayou game. That Bayou game that they was
Yeah,
shown.
South of Midnight,
I wasn't
2025.
expecting those games to come out
Gears
this
of
year.
War, no release date announced.
Oh no, most likely 2025, 2026.
Most
Yeah.
likely, but but what I'm saying is, and again, we're probably going to move
Oh
through this
no,
list really quickly. I'm
nothing
like,
saves them this year.
where,
But no, nothing does. I mean, I told y'all, like, yo, kid, they're done. They don't care. They just want, hey, listen, you want the next lineup, 2025, right? That's what they're telling us, man.
I feel like I feel like what they did was just bait with promises once again. And then, like I said, in the beginning, that's very dangerous territory, bro. Because, bro, like a lot
hmm
could change in 3 months, bro. A lot, and we've seen that this gaming community has gotten very, very unsustainable, bro. Like next thing you know, there's work riots or there's workplace this and that, and
That can happen to anybody, though.
there's
and not
but
and
yeah,
not only that, they're very fickle with their funds, right? Because
yes.
let's just keep it real, and it's not an Xbox thing. Let's keep it real. No matter what game drops next year, whatever drops post Grand Theft Auto, may you rest in peace.
Yes.
That's how fickle the industry is now. It could be Gears of War could get a 10 out of 10. If it drops after Grand Theft Auto drops next year, may you rest in
And
peace.
also to expand on your point, Anthony, is also the fact that a lot of people are also waiting to see what that release date is looking like, so they can find what is a good window to compete.
The
And
drop.
let's just say if they pull the plug too early and it's like, oh yeah, summer this, and the next thing you know, here comes this new trailer, and it's like,
Spring 2025 Grand Theft Auto. You're like, no! No!
yeah, it's weird out here, bro. It's really
But
weird. I
kid,
mean,
that game's gonna cost as much as a pair of Jordans, man. Like $200 or
And
Balenciagas.
people are going to pay for
okay,
it.
and people are
People are going to pay
people
for
are
it.
going to pay for it, bro.
They're already testing the market, right? So for as much as people were cooking EA for the massive skew of price models when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws, look what they did with Sparking Zero. The collector's edition is like $170 for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And it made me think, I'm like, it goes back to one, like what Dory said, what like people paying $100 for games. And then it made me think of something that Tim said when Tim was like, you're getting to a point now where you're relying on these content creators and these streamers to do all the marketing for you. Because at the end of the day, they have to buy the game, right? They have to buy the $200 collector's edition because they got to do the unboxing for their channel. They got to do the digital edition release for their channel. They got to do all these things just to get their streams and their views
Day
up.
one
So I'm gonna charge
streams.
you day one streams. They got to do the tutorial. They got to do the review. They got to do the exclusive. All of those things cost money. So I'm going to get you for every dollar, and you're gonna pay for it. Grand Theft Auto could drop for $200, and people are gonna buy it. Hey, here's the console experience of a generation. $200, standard edition.
They were gonna charge us for every year they didn't come out. That's crazy. That's
Get it back in blood.
that's wild. Oh man.
But I guess since we kind of covered the rest of the games, like I will say that mixtape did look very interesting. Um, for some reason, it just kind of reminded me of some of the color palette decisions that they were doing with the Spider Verse movies in a good way. Like I was just like, wow, this is an IP that looks really cool. Like I like the idea of it. It is a little bit more of a niche. I like the fact that there's some risks that Xbox seems to be taking. The South of Midnight. How do y'all feel? It's another fantastical black protagonist led story.
It's still too early for me. I do like the theme of it. It was kind of giving me like Grim Fandango vibes of like that very,
Mm.
I wouldn't say monster world, but fairy tale creature world with some dark elements into it. The combat was very interesting. I would like to see how it's expanded on, but it's still very, like I said,
Mm.
very early. Very, very early.
What surprised me, what I really think that I think the writing was phenomenal for what I saw. You can tell
Mm.
early on. Even because I was interested in their conversation between her and the frog. Now that this
Mm-hmm.
does not make up for gameplay. The gameplay has to be fun and it has to be good. So With the
Mm,
gameplay, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I was a little like, okay. I mean, the way she can maneuver, that was cool. The
mm.
way she was maneuvering, but the combat got to be fun. Like, you know, what is it exactly? You know, I still don't know what level of depth of combat it is. Is
And
it
then
light
also,
combat? Is it?
and then also like,
Mm.
what are there other environments? Because like, yes, you gave me this mythical bayou type of feel, but is that it? Because that's gonna get very repetitive after a while, bro. So,
It depends on what they do with it.
um,
Like you said, it's early. It's early.
one of the things that I was looking forward to, that I really loved was the Perfect Dark. It gave because I'm a Mirror's Edge lover, bro, and then I saw a lot of those animations in it, and
I
it
hated that
looked,
game.
it looked very dope, bro. It looked very very dope to me, and I really did like that spy espionage, high thriller. How do I get out this situation type of vibe?
Mm.
So yeah, I mean that was good, man. That was really good.
No, Perfect Dark, boy. If that was, hey, listen, if Perfect Dark didn't come with it or even look interesting, I said this is the game that you guys were saying was a quadruple A game.
Mm.
You did. You said it. You said you added another A to the. You gave the. You added. Nobody did. You did. And you know it looks good. It looks interesting. It looks like it's coming into its own. It doesn't have to be Deus Ex, right? Because you cannot move like that in Deus Ex. She
Mm.
was moving like she had maneuverability. And that was cool. And the world looked interesting. The city that it was taking place in. So I said, "Yo,
It did.
this is actually I could see this being very fun." You know, no, that rooftop that you wanted to go on to that you thought was not scalable. Oh, it's scalable. That's gonna make the
Mm.
game a lot different. You know, so no, Perfect Dark. I think I liked what I saw. I was actually nervous, man. To be honest with you, I was super nervous. Dog. I was like, okay, what am I gonna see? Am I gonna see a body camera game, sci-fi? I don't know what.
Mm.
I kind of do wish it borrowed from the 2000, the 64 Perfect Dark aesthetics. That heavy metal, black interior, kind of like the Minority Port type of sci-fi
Mm.
slash iRobot, little bit of Matrix. Kind of wish it pulled from that. I liked it. I didn't like the 2000s Joanna Dark because it just didn't feel like her. Perfect Dark from the 360 era, it just didn't feel like her. I feel like they're two
Mm.
different people, and I see what they went with that inspiration versus the other one. So, you know, it's cool, straight. I ain't really mad at it.
Does it bother y'all that there was no like release date announced at all for it, or
Hey, listen, Microsoft better not give us a release date. We know how they are with that, right? They drop a release date, and after that, hey, listen, guys, we're gonna push it back. You know, at least for us, for an Xbox fan, for at least, hey, listen, Phil understands. Hey, listen, we're gonna show the game when it's ready. Because now look at Avowed. Avowed has something to show us. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it's not. It doesn't have a release date. Look at Perfect Dark. They could have gave us another CGI trailer, but they didn't. They showed us a world. They showed us gameplay. Now we have something to look forward to. Take your time. Don't rush it, because we saw what happened last time when you did that. Redfall. But at the same time, those guys didn't want to make that game. You feel me?
Mhm.
So now you have a game where I can see people are thinking, people are interested in. Let's take our time. Let's finish. And plus, if you don't take your time, well, when you're just gonna suffer. For whatever may come in the future. And so
Right.
yeah.
Okay. And I guess the last big Xbox specific topic, um, Gears of War E-Day with no release date and it being a prequel, not unofficial Gears of War 6.
Uh, you want to go, Tim? Or
Gentlemen,
I
thoughts?
mean,
Yeah, I personally, bro, I kind of felt like it should have ended with Gears of War 3. I just kind of felt like it goes back to overstaying your welcome. Like, this is a particular shooter that it's literally like, okay, when are we going to really wrap this up? Because, or just like, go back to what I said. Like, what is the spiritual successor to Gears? I do feel like that certain IPs are just getting like worn out, bro. They're really just getting
Mm,
worn out, and I kind of feel like people are so scared to invest into something new. But you shouldn't have to be. Gears of War served its time, and that's how I personally feel. Like, yes, the trailer did its thing. It was cool. It hit some nostalgia points, yes, but I'm not interested in it because, first off, yeah, I don't have the system, and second, it's just like, yeah, like you could wrap up that universe already. Like, I remember
mm,
like our talk about Resistance and Killzone. The only reason why I feel like those are good for at least one more showdown is because of the things that were happening around the time with those particular games. Like Resistance
mm,
3 took a hit because of the PlayStation 3 hack. Um, Killzone Shadowfall was good, but it was a launch title. I don't think with stuff like that. Like, yes, you need launch titles, but I just kind of felt like after the launch, it just kind of just fizzled away, you know.
mm,
And I didn't really appreciate that. So I do feel like both of those flagship shooters deserve at least one more chance. But Gears of Wars, if it's filling a void for somebody, because I know we all feel things different, good. But I do feel like story wise, like bro, there's only so much you could really do. So yes, that explains the prequel.
I think
okay.
I think I think what Gears needs to do. The prequel, I'm actually interested in it. I don't really mind, only because a lot of interesting things happened at that time. So it's like Naruto diving into the ninja war before Pain's people fell. Pain's entire clan got destroyed. You had the
Mm,
Salamander, you had the other Kages. How did they navigate the world? We know they're already dead, but those battles that they talk about in the history books, man, we needed to be there to see it, to see what level were they at. And we were only able to touch that when they got resurrected, and we knew they weren't even resurrected at full power, at best. So,
right.
bruh,
Mm,
could you imagine? So we're getting Naruto, but no, these guys. Listen, Madara would have a problem without a clan because of these Kages. You know how
mm,
wild that is. So what pre E Day and Gears of War would be that ramped up. You know what I'm saying? Because Gears of War towards Marcus Phoenix Delta Squad being birthed, it's actually winding down. They got a solution, but this is like 6 months after the Pendulum War. So you guys didn't really get a decent break. You know what I'm saying? And now you got this enemy that came out of nowhere. So the situation to where they put the Hammer of Dawn online as a last resort, that's gonna be wild. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of key monumental moments that they mention in the lore that, oh man, I
mm,
can't I would love to. That'll be a great piece. One prequel, one prequel and one prequel only to kind of go back. And what this game is, guys, believe it or not, it's not I wouldn't say a launch title, but it's so the team could get a feel for what the authentic Gears of War is, so they can carry that same momentum into six, right?
mm.
Because same thing with Resident Evil. If you didn't play four and you tried to make four, good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Hmm,
So
hmm,
they needed to do that. They need this. This was a team effort project. Let's see if we can tell a good story. Let's see if we can get the best graphics that we can out of this Unreal Engine 5 story. We're gonna release it.
hmm.
Whatever proceeds we get from this, we'll go to six, and we'll make six even better with the story intact. And that's all this is. That's why they did it. It's safe, right? You can't really mess up. You can mess up six on, and I think Gears of War needs to kind of do their stories like it's a good example. Not Warhammer. Well, Warhammer has finished stories. Uh,
Hmm.
Dragon Age has one set stories. Gears of War needs to do that. They need to finish one arc, go to the next arc, finish another arc, and just call it Gears of War this, Gears of War that. Tell a different story, different enemies, different world. Do a Final Fantasy thing. The weapons could be similar. The weapons can't be similar. Whatever, right? Add this, add that, and then just do that. The Marcus Phoenix saga is done. We got a new character, new saga. Does it take place on the planet Sarah? It doesn't, because there's no Earth. Just so you know, that's not Earth.
Mm.
There's no Earth in the Gears universe. It's called Planet Sarah. So I think they should take that approach from any other installments. Right after once what they're done with six, tell a completely new different story. Call it Gears of something, or you can call it a spiritual successor of Gears. But I think that's the direction they should go in. Gears of War E-Day is just so you guys can see what's gonna happen. Versus, hey, should we remake two? Nah, let's do a prequel to where we can probably get away with all of those things, and then we move on to the next. That's that.
Okay. I think that's fair. I mean, I do think you're right for a game that's been missing for at least 5 years now, right? I think that's the last Gears of War was what 2019. I think that is a safer way of approaching it. Generally speaking, you guys both know how I feel about prequels. I think they're to some degree. I don't care. It could be movies, it could be TV, it could be anything. I'm like the story of how we got here. To me, is not always as interesting because it's just a foregone conclusion of like these moments of tension don't matter. These characters that are introduced don't matter because one, these characters that I don't recognize are probably going to be dead, and anything that involves the main characters doesn't matter because I know they live. Right? Like I know where we're headed. So sometimes it's just like it's. Is it possible to do an interesting prequel? I do think it is. I think there's elements of it, like you said, enjoy the lore that can be helpful, but it just kind of feels like the same type of thing I've always had with prequels of like you're limited in the sense of like, well, you can't introduce a new weapon because if you do, people are like, well, where was that in Gears of War? You know, like it's just certain things that you have to kind of be very
You
careful
can't destroy
with
the
because
time continuum.
exactly they're just like, but wait, why did he do that? And you're like, it's that thing of like it's
Batman
a
Arkham
dance.
Origins.
Right. What happened to those gauntlet fish? Where did they go? Right. It's just certain things where it's like I haven't seen it done well often. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna knock this game for doing that. It's just like me personally, a prequel story is not where I'm interested. I'm curious to see how Gears of War performs on this console cycle. But as far as like the story, I'm like, this is where a spin-off book or media or Netflix show would have came in handy. I don't need to play through it personally.
Mm.
But that's just, that's just my thoughts. And again, that's no hate towards it. Just like, that's how I feel about prequels in general.
No.
Um,
Makes sense. Makes sense, man.
yeah. 10 seconds. Your overall rating of the Xbox showcase. I gave it like maybe an 8.5 out of 10 personally. What about you guys?
I gave it an 8 for presentation. I did like the flow of trailer to trailer, not trailer, oh, dev, conversation, trailer.
Hmm.
I like the momentum of it. So I'll give them an 8. But yeah, I give them an 8 because like, yeah, bro, it's still just promises. And you did not say,
State of Decay had a release date.
yeah, you just,
It does not. I
It
checked.
doesn't. Oh,
No, no,
so yeah, you're just
no.
relying on the yearly sports and shooters for this year.
Yeah. The only thing that has a guaranteed 2024 release date, I think Avowed is supposed to come out sometime this year, supposedly. Stalker 2, first person shooter
oh yeah,
this
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. That's fire. That trailer
Then
was fire.
Starfield DLC. Yeah, so you guys get something, but I don't know if it's, again, I don't know if it's
The thing with Starfield, man, it should have came out with more momentum, plain and simple, because it's almost like getting treated like Borderlands 3. I don't know if you guys are into those games, but
I've been to
a
the
lot of the
Borderlands story.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so it's like Borderlands 3, man. Borderlands 3, they didn't deliver on the villains. Those two streamers, it didn't translate well, right? You went from Handsome Jack to the streamer twins that they kind of like what are they like doing a game show, but they're villains, but they're not, but they're streamers. So it didn't really work. It didn't translate well. Um, I think.
okay. But out of ten, remember, moving on. Out of 10, what would you
Oh, out
give
of
the
10, yeah, I
showcase?
get 8.5.
Okay,
I think the
okay.
reason why I'm okay with it, it may not, those games may not have a release date, but we know that the games exist, right? Like the game
Eh,
actually, that when I say games, well, I mean, that's how it usually starts, right? God of War could have not coming out. They just showed the trailer. You knew that Santa Monica was going to deliver. I know that the
Mm.
Coalition's going to deliver. I know that a lot of those other games.
I thought Capcom was going to deliver on Mega Man Legends 3, but look at where we are now.
Oh no, that
That's
Capcom
close.
was
It was
Sledgecom
closer
though.
and everything.
No, that Capcom was Sledgecom at that time. So like, come on. With Ono at the helm of Street Fighter, we already knew what was going to happen, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that Capcom was not the best Capcom. That Capcom was a very strange world. Do you remember Capcom Fighting Jams, gentlemen? Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, they knew what they had to do, and that's why you got to go, buddy.
right.
I will say to move on. I think this was the strongest Xbox showing we've seen in quite some time. Like
Yeah, that's why I give
I
it
was
what I
happy.
gave it.
I
Yeah,
was happy for me. I think they did. I think they did what they needed to do, given what they had available. They came strong. They definitely came strong for sure. But speaking of Capcom and speaking of Street Fighter, we did get the announcement of Street Fighter 6 Season 2 with two guest characters, Terry Bogart and what's her name? Mai, right? Is it Mai?
my
Mai, right? Mai from SNK. So what's in the group chat that SNK versus Capcom 3 is coming. It's coming.
it's coming.
Then we also got Elena, Jory's request of the character that he wanted to see return. And we also got your boy M. Bison, the
Second.
amnesiac back from the dead. The Orochimaru of Street Fighter games is back. And honestly, looking fire.
Let,
Probably the
let,
best he's
let,
looked in
let me see if I got a
at
pic.
least a couple
Let me
games.
see if I got a picture of my boy right here. My boy Bison right here, man.
And he's on the horse that he was in from the Street Fighter movie.
Oh,
When he was played
hey,
by.
listen. I was happy. I was happy.
So, okay. Jory, start us off. What did you feel about the announcement of season 2 and the characters that they introduced? The four
Okay, with
characters.
season 2, I think it was too early for the characters, man.
What?
I thought it was too early for Terry Bogart and I think it's too early.
Bro, they just finished season 1. When do you expect season 2?
No, when I say
Like two other guest characters?
too early for guest characters,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But why?
there's other characters that you guys should have. Makoto should have been a part of that lineup. Sean should have been a part of that lineup. Uh, there's other characters that should have been a part of that lineup. Dudley. Uh,
Hmm.
you know,
I'm interested to see why they only sticking to 4 characters. Because I remember the last game you got like 6 per season.
yeah. This one, if not, they should have added 2 more extra characters because those guest characters, you're not going to be in the next installment. So
Yeah,
maybe this pack should have just probably been a little bit more because I kind of feel like, okay, you're taking the slots of characters that I want to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So a guest character is a guest character. You're not going to ruin your main lineup just so, you understand what I'm saying? Like you're a guest.
No, that makes sense.
These are
That
the
makes
2
sense.
extra slots. These are just bonuses. You don't have to get them, but they're
Hmm.
bonuses. So for example, Sean should have definitely made a comeback. That would have been, oh
Hmm.
man, you could have introduced characters from Rival School. Akira's making an appearance back, or Batsu, or Kyosuke. Like you could have did something, right? What would have made this thing interesting if Bison returned and I don't know his name from Rival School, but he has a katana. He's like a principal, or he's one of the bosses in Rival School. I don't know if you guys ever seen him. He has the white hair and he has a katana
Tim would know more than me.
with the red
I
with
know,
the
I
red.
know who you're
Y'all,
speaking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
y'all
know
are
his
Lord
name.
brothers.
I don't know his name, but he would have been what? Him showing up, people would have been, yo, y'all going this route?
Hmm.
I really think I just thought it was too early for the characters, man, the guest
Hmm.
characters. I really believe they should have focused on this. Still should have been in house because it's now. I feel like they're gonna kind of be. It almost worried me a little bit. They're gonna kind of we might get more guest characters. I'm hoping not, or maybe one more. I'm hoping not
Hmm.
because they're kind of showing me that they're like not confident in their lineup that they have.
Yeah.
That's what they're showing me.
Yeah. And
And so
that's exactly
that's
right.
what
I would
bothered
book
me.
on a yeah, I would actually book on a Tekken guest character at some point, but not to a different point. Yes, yes,
Street Fighter Cross
yes.
Tekken already happened, bro. Yeah.
It don't matter because remember that announcement from last time. They both parties are still interested in making that crossover
And
game.
they did by giving you Akuma. And that completed the cycle, bro.
That's not how they thinking, Tim. I'm telling you,
Okay.
that's
That's
not
not
how they.
yeah.
Not
They're
Harada.
gonna keep feeding it. Yep,
Not
they're
Harada.
gonna keep feeding into
Harada
it.
didn't even say we haven't officially canceled it yet. So guys, it's not canceled.
They
He
don't
said
have
it.
they don't have to say it, bro. They don't
They have
have to.
to.
Yes, they do.
They do.
They
They
do.
said it with SNK. They said it with SNK versus Capcom. Now that the reason why SNK did you see the posters that they dropped on E3? The people's last Evo out of nowhere. Capcom and SNK working together again. 2024. They already
Yeah,
started campaigning. Not to mention, did you know SNK versus Capcom is sold more than any of the Marvel versus Capcoms? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't
They
know
I
they're
that.
didn't.
more popular. Yeah, they're way more popular.
I think because it's a much more level world. I say because you got Capcom characters versus these superhumans.
Leveled as what? It's not as leveled anymore,
Yeah,
kids. What are you talking
it's
about?
yeah that, and I feel like at this point, especially again, depending on who they pull from these worlds, it's equal playing grounds at this point because
Which right? Like Oro doesn't Oro go into the Himalayas to grab a piece of stone and slam you with it? Like yo, Oro's on
bro,
another level, man.
his super is a spirit bomb. Akuma's introducing this game, practicing punching a cliffside. Like it's power scaling is relative in these
Yo,
games at this point.
a 30 pound yo, that's slab stone, bro. That's the stone that you. That's the stone that holds the mountains up. Come on,
Yeah,
guys,
he's
come on.
casually
Yeah, like nah, man. At this point, man, you
power
got
scaling is not a worry at this point.
yeah, man.
I don't really, yeah.
I'll give my thoughts about the season pass. I was happy to see that.
Marissa throwing a line at you. Yeah, this is Baki. She on some Baki
Yeah.
time. Come on, dog.
I was happy to see season two. I was very disappointed in seeing Bison because, like I said in the group chat, you just reneged like a game of spades. Like, yes, combat wise, this is probably the best he's ever been. But you Capcom must keep showing that they have no faith in Street Fighter in terms of story, lineup. So it's kind of like you're just selling a product just by the blindness of the IP.
That's Street Fighter 6 Bison, by the way. I mean Street Fighter 5's Bison. I
Yeah,
think his lore is mad interesting because he absorbed a Hadoken.
yeah. I mean, it's just a simple fact, like bro, like
Hey, that
how
junk is
many
crazy.
times do we have to keep going back and forth? He died and brought back, died, brought
They
back,
go,
and
they,
it's like
they're gonna release a statement. Bison will never die. That's it.
no, but then that's
Well, no,
trash. That's trash, bro.
it fits the lore of the character. Like he has contingency plan or contingency plans. I think to what Tim, I agree with him. I think it's yes, you're fitting within your lore, but you're using it as the in case of emergency button over and over and over again. Of like, oh, they didn't really like the world tour and how he set his secretary as the bad
Yeah, it's a cop out
guy.
because like first of all,
Hey, but
because like look at Street Fighter Five. Street Fighter Five basically had every Street Fighter villain, main story villain. First of all,
Yeah,
Sagat,
yeah, they
but then
did.
now Sagat is on this road of redemption. Okay, now you got Bison. Same typical story. Oh yes, we released this story mode for the DLC. Yeah, the fall of Shadowloo. Okay, you bring in Gil. You bring in Gil. You bring in Seth. You bring in Seth. And like, you still got Akuma on the side, but then it's like, all right, you're trying to fizzle out these characters, but then you introduce G, who is supposed to introduce some apocalypse, and it's like, but that's never explained. And then it's just like the story is just all over the place, and it's really now starting to become very frustrating. Um, with Terry and Mai, I feel like yes, they're the prototypes to introduce yes another Capcom versus SNK3. So I'm happy about that, but I do kind of feel like damn, bro, like other people should have been there. But Elena, she was the perfect choice due to the
yeah,
ties to Akuma. Like that was a perfect choice. I'm glad that they aged her a little bit. I'm really looking forward to her combat again. But I just feel like as a season two, this is very. I wouldn't say I wouldn't call it weak. It definitely has a lot of hype to it, due to the guest characters and of course Bison again. But it's
Mm.
just I feel like it's weak in terms of they don't have faith in themselves.
Okay, I would agree with that. I do, to give them some props though. I do think when we had the discussion last podcast about how we feel about how season passes get rolled out, I think this was the best way to go about Street
Yes,
Fighter.
yes.
Here's all four characters from jump. Here's exactly what you're getting. If you want it, please purchase season pass two. If you don't, then you see season pass three. I love that. I'm like, here's no question mark, shaking on the screen. Like, who else is next? It's like, here it is. Here's year two.
It works for Super Smash
Now,
Brothers. It doesn't work for this.
yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't work for this.
Exactly. I need to know what I'm investing in.
Yeah,
I think
it's an
we got to do
investment. It's an
that way.
investment. Precisely,
Yeah.
it's an investment. Bitcoin
Yeah.
or no Bitcoin. Yeah, but like seriously. Um,
Yeah.
with here's something I was thinking about, man, and I was like, for us guys, I didn't get a chance to text it when you guys were talking. I don't know, was it Monday or probably Saturday? One of those days we were talking about the Bison reveal. You guys were talking about the Bison reveal on the chat, and I was like, okay, we are our own worst nightmare, our own kryptonite in a way, because we love story and we love lore. A lot of the
Hmm.
story from these fighting game characters is the reason why we like these characters, and that's why we play as them. But the fighting games are kept alive by the competitiveness, just plain and
Hmm.
simple. Look at Virtual Fighter. We don't know what the story is for Virtual Fighter, but people love that game. There's a cult
Hmm.
following. Dragon Ball Z Fighters, I didn't play the story mode. I went straight to the fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And a lot of people who never played Dragon Ball Z went straight to the fighting. They learned about Goku afterwards, and there just so happens to be 200 episodes showing the life of Goku. So I say all that to say, with these fighting games, you can just tell that the story's not their priority. Unless it's wrapped up like a NRS game, to where now you have to have a good story. But even if you don't have a good story, they're gonna play it. They're gonna play Mortal Kombat 10, right? That wasn't my favorite story, but Mortal Kombat 10 was a lot of people's favorites. Mortal Kombat, as far as competitiveness, as far as
I
you know what I'm
agree with
saying?
you. I agree with you. My only little asterisk with that is we kind of reached a point where, unfortunately, the story tends to dictate the roster. So even if I wanted to avoid the lore, I can't, because you're telling me, hey man, you're just not going to get Jade in this Mortal Kombat game because she just wasn't important to the story in this fighting game. It's kind of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you're right. If we're treating this almost like a Call of Duty, where it's like the campaign and the multiplayer are they divert at a certain point. They have nothing to do with each other. It'd be one thing if the roster was not dictated by the story. There was a time where that was the case, right? We didn't know what was canon in Street Fighter because everybody had a wildly different ending. But now we're reaching the point where you're telling me that the reason why you put Bison's secretary in this game is because he has a important part to play in this storyline now of Street Fighter 3 plus and on.
But
So it's like, you got to justify that somehow.
no. Okay, did you guys know that Bison is in JP's animation?
I mean, I didn't know. The only reason why I knew Bison even existed still was when Tim pointed out that you could see the schematics of them trying to revive him in the background of one of the stages. That's the only reason why I knew
No,
they
you
still
can go,
trying to
if
bring
you
him
guys
back.
have Street Fighter, play JP, and I think you do one of his down. I don't know what you call. I don't know the fighting game language, but Bison comes
Hmm.
out of the his ink splatter, whatever his cycle power, however his cycle power manifests, and you see Bison punch you on
Okay,
one of his lows.
okay, and that is
So
okay. So, but why would you
yeah,
need to bring in him back? Like, yes, like I said, spiritual successor.
that's the
Like, yes,
foreshadowing. That's the
like if
foreshadowing they
no,
were
bro,
telling
like
us.
that's a cop out, bro. Like,
Yeah,
yes, if JP is the last remnant of Shadowloo, doing whatever he wants in this world. Of course, yes, he has like access to psycho power. Cool, keep it to JP because you're now. Because first of all, I already had a problem with JP in the first place because why are you giving more characters that Ed already has? Ed and also
Mm,
the other girl, Falk, from the last game, because you find out that Ed
mm,
rescued a bunch of other people who were supposed to be bodies, even a psycho powered gorilla. But where are
mm.
these people? So, but then the thing about it is, you're just bringing in all these random factors, but then how are they going to hold up? And like Ant said, yes, it's dictated on the roster, bro. All this stuff is dictated by the roster. It's just, I just kind of felt like, bro, like you literally had one chance. Because, people have been saying, like, when we're going to get past this Street Fighter 2, 2 dash, because that's basically what 4 and 5 were. It was Street Fighter 2.5, Street Fighter 2.7. That's basically what they were. And now, we finally got past the dreadedness of 3, but then nothing is really holding up. It's like you literally just brought this dude back. I was honestly, yeah, I do carry a very disdain for that, bro. Because I'm trying to have faith in their product again in terms of like what I
Mm.
want to invest in, but I just kind of feel like, bro, like you're not making very soundful decisions. Like even on Tekken side, like there are certain Tekken characters, they're dead, like actually dead. Like you find out from this story, like yes, oh, this person is not in this game anymore because he had a heart attack, bro. He had a heart attack, and there is no mystic revival for this character at all. But here, yes, here's his pupil who has taken up the mantle, but then still has like his own interest in fighting style as well, and we're moving on. That is fine.
I just don't think. Okay, story does determine the roster with certain fighting games, but I think they're gonna probably get away from that, man. Because if it's getting in the way of killing your favorite character, and you get mad every time I bring it back through DLC. All right, so the story will just be what we want it to, and then magically they'll show up
But
for
then
the
it
next
just,
Evo tournament.
but then it just comes Street Fighter, the esports title, not Street Fighter the
Yeah, no,
story.
but they're competitive in nature, right? I make a fighting game for people to compete. They were doing this before E3. There were people were going to tournaments and betting money. It was bound to happen. So now it's popular.
Mm.
It's modernized. It's a household name. We had Super Smash Brothers tournaments at school. We didn't put any money up. We put lunch money. We put food. We didn't do anything. It wasn't really a crazy prize pool, but we did. I played Halo. We had challenges before achievements. We were doing it all on our own, but now it became mainstream. And so
Mm.
now these companies are like, yo, we could make these games last longer. These people were already hosting tournaments without us. Daigo and the famous Daigo and Justin Wong tournament was recorded on a Nokia cell phone or whatever camera it was. You
Mm.
get what I'm saying? So they were doing this before. It's the competitive nature. That's why I was really thinking about it. I said, man, does the story have as much prominence as it should? I think with certain IPs it does, but again, with certain IPs it doesn't, because I know a lot of guys, they buy Call of Duty. I buy it for the story. When I play Call of Duty, for both the story and the multiplayer. These guys just get it for
Mm.
the multiplayer. They said, "What story? I don't care," and they go up and they just go in. Whereas for me,
Mm.
I'm here to I'm playing it for the story. I want to know what happens. I want that experience. I want that narrative. That narrative. I want that part of me that craves a narrative to be fed. Right. I
I
played Gears of War equally for the story and for the competitive nature.
I
So
just
with the fighting game, it's before you go, Tim, it's
sorry
yeah,
about that.
like it's literally one guy facing the other guy against the screen to who can beat each other up to a pulp first. You know, that's the premise of it. And I was just
Mm.
thinking, I was like, man, certain games can't get away from it. Like Mortal Kombat, to me, you can't get away from it. You have to have a good story. That's just the way Mortal Kombat is. That's what Mortal Kombat is as a brand, and that's what I was kind of thinking. I don't know to what they both have importance. That was a very good point that you made, because now the story determines the roster. So now I think they're gonna make a story to where nobody dies, or they'll go back in the past. I don't know. However they decide to figure it out.
I just felt like that it's come to the point where, like, well, if they do follow that model, you could just constantly sell us old characters just because. Like, that was the biggest thing about Street Fighter Five was the first DLC were all classic characters, bro. People were pissed. People felt like it was that dark
Mm,
age of Street Fighter Cross Tekken again because it's like, why am I paying for Guile? Why am I paying for Jury? Why am I paying for this and that? And that's what, like, Ant said it best. Like, to this day, Ultra Street Fighter 4 has the best roster. The best. Because
mm.
they took things serious about that. The variety of characters that they had, even when Street Fighter Cross Tekken fell apart and they gave us the characters from that game and brought it
Relento,
to
Poison,
yeah, like Relento, Elena, Hugo, and
Hugo.
Poison, and it's like I was like, bro, that was very good salvaging fan service. But then it's just
Yes.
now
Mm.
this story has hit such a very stagnant point that you're just literally just doing anything right now, and it's really just not making sense to me.
I said the best thing they could do, and I know a lot of people aren't against it. A lot of people are against it, but they have to. What else are gonna? They wrote themselves into a hole. You have to reboot it. You start from Street Fighter Alpha, and how we go. You have to, because
I
if you
say,
say no,
I
I say
right? You
wrap it
say
up.
no,
I say wrap it up. I say
yeah.
wrap it up and move on to something else.
or you pass the torch on to the rival school kids characters.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You got to wrap up. Like, I think, and we obviously got to move on. I think the thing with this is like, as you guys were talking, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, we're reaching that awkward because this is uncharted territory, right? We've never gotten this far within any video games. Video games haven't been around long enough to kind of reach this point. But we're starting to reach that point of like, okay, we're all now in our 30s. We've been playing as Ryu and Ken since we were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Am I supposed to believe that I'm going to be playing as Ryu and Ken for the next 30 years of my life? At what point does the brand of Street Fighter continue without these characters? At what point can they safely, when they say, "Hey, Luke is the face and the future of the franchise," and me be like, "Yeah, okay, I could see that." Now that didn't work because Luke wasn't an interesting enough character, right, to carry Street Fighter. But I think the idea is like at some point, like you gotta wrap it up. There's not much else you could do with these characters. You telling me that Ryu mastered the art of nothingness and now can do electric shurikens and still loses to Akuma? What was the point? Why even bother? You're basically telling me that, hey, the Dark Hada was right all along. Unless it isn't. Right? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. Like, we got to find out through like a YouTube video that, Akuma eating a rice ball turns him into Shin Akuma. That's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, at a certain point, it's like, okay, I think it's time we just let these stories kind of go, right? You don't have to reboot the series, but like Tim said, the spiritual successor. Here are these newer, younger characters. You throw on a couple of characters that weren't that old in the original franchise to kind of keep it going. Where I don't have to be like, well, if I don't see Ryu and Ken on the cover, meanwhile it's me and my grandkid, I'm not getting Street Fighter 11. That sounds crazy to me. Like at a certain point, it's like, when do we let go of the reins of like the flagship quote unquote characters?
I still want an angry scorpion. I ain't gonna lie, man. When I think about it,
Yeah, but the idea of Scorpion isn't reserved to just the character. It is not always like Scorpion isn't even a Hanzo in this Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still have the character live on in a new form.
Yeah, because I feel like when you hold on to nostalgia too much, you hinder yourself from growth. Like you're trying to possess this timeless feeling where it already is timeless. It already is because it
Hmm.
lived its moment. Like the 3D era was the 3D era, and then now we're entering the story narrative era. Because even Tekken understood the assignment. It was like, yo, we need to deliver. We need to deliver on something. Like, yes, it was a little quirky from time to time, but they said like, all right, you know what, we're doing enough. But then here comes Street Fighter. You just basically announced this little open world arcade. Buy up all this cosmetic stuff, and it's just like have fun. And it's like you didn't even take this title seriously, bro. Like,
Fun,
yes,
fun, fun, fund our next game. Street Fighter 6.5 is coming out, guys.
Right, or we inch the story up a little bit, but not really, not that much. And who knows what's canon now? And anyway,
yeah, yeah,
moving
we can move
on.
on.
Moving on. To take a brief diversion into the world of VR, we got a Batman Arkham Shadows full CG trailer with a story. Was there anything, him, I guess, apparently versus the Ratcatcher?
Yeah,
Did that capture anyone's interest at
No,
all?
no,
it's
I don't care.
I feel like they're trying to save. I feel like WB is trying to save themselves from the last fallouts that they've been having, and they went back to formula with the Arkham series. Yes, they went with the
Mm-hmm,
Arkham Origins Batman, since it's a much older
mm-hmm,
story. I didn't have an
mm-hmm,
issue with the voice, but it's just I just kind of felt like the Ratcatcher is such an interesting character. I would have loved him in the previous titles that we had. I just kind of felt like, bro, like anything Arkham now is too late because you've already
You
established what happened to that end of the story, and then even with this blasphemy that you brought with Suicide Squad,
thank you,
it's like
thank you, dog.
it's
Oh my
like
god.
like you've already tainted this universe, bro, and I don't feel a
mm-hmm,
VR aspect is going to save it because like yes, Ratcatcher is a cool character, but then as like it's not going to be like Scarecrow's nightmares. So and you're pitching this for VR, so it's kind of like how what is the atmospheric supposed to be like that is going to be so
mm,
intense? Now maybe the combat, I mean we haven't really seen that yet, but I just kind of felt like that was a waste of a character because he was hinted, and when you were doing like the Riddler trophies and the character bios and stuff, he was hinted.
mm-hmm.
So I thought like, all right, well maybe Ratcatcher will make an appearance. Nope. But here comes
I
Mad
just,
Hatter for the third time.
Yeah.
I hate that character, dog. I hate that character,
It,
man.
it's a bold choice. It's a
So
bold choice.
listen, man.
And I get it, the bat versus the rat. I understand. It's still, I'm just like, I think you're right, Tim. They're trying to do a little bit of damage control. And I think it's like anything else, right? Like, it's like a spinoff where it's like, we don't want to use one of our more popular villains and risk ruining that. The rat catcher it falls apart. It's like, it's just a rat catcher. Who cares? But it's given, like you said, everything that happened with Suicide Squad. I'm like, this is not what you think it is. This is not doing what you think it's gonna do.
Man,
Because
goodness.
it already like the product's already stepped on. You're just like
Yeah.
Y'all,
You
y'all,
see Arkham, you're like
y'all
nah.
destroyed Kevin Conroy's Batman, and it's now like nah, and then it's origins as a matter of fact. So it's like nah, man. Not to say that
Yeah.
Batman's bad. It's just origins has a slight disfavorable taste.
It's divisive. It's divisive.
Yeah,
I like the game. I honestly, outside of some of the glitches, I don't see why everyone was so up in arms about it. I thought it was a very competent story.
Yeah.
But it's definitely divisive.
It was a competent story until the big cop out, once again, the Joker factor, which is why I'm so strongly about Bison. It's
Hmm.
like I understand bringing in Ratcatcher because they want more street level villains, and that's where I kind of felt
Right.
like the animated Batman series had such a good balance of like super S rank villains and street level
Mm.
villains. Like even Spider Man does it. Spider Man fights the mob in one episode, and then next thing you know, yeah, here's this cult that you got to fight, and then here comes this
Hmm.
pure electric being. Have fun.
Hmm.
It's just like yeah, bro. Like the
boy, how do you
Arkham
fight that?
universe has been tainted as of now, and I feel like WB really needs to just sit down with themselves and figure out a plan moving forward. I keep telling people all the time, bro. Like a comic book inspired Ninja Turtles game with some of the IDW writing will be perfect. It's a
Hmm.
very rich and lore world. You could finally, really expand on the different combat styles of the turtles. So think of like the old school beat 'em up games, but with real in depth to it.
Hmm.
scaling the city together, like sliding down a ladder or summoning up one of the bikes and actually using stealth because remember Master Splinter always said that use the shadows. How do you use the shadows?
Did any of you guys ever play the side scroller? They were not side scroller, but they were for like the 64. I think they even dropped for the PlayStation, to where it's four Ninja Turtles on screen. Mutant Mayhem, I think that's what it was called.
I've heard of that, yeah.
So yeah, it's 3D. Okay, you played Batman Vengeance, and if you guys played Batman Vengeance, I think it's the same team.
Okay.
I'm familiar with it. I never played it, but I know what game you're talking about.
Okay, so it's the same team that made this Ninja Turtles game, and that to me was one of the best low key double A Ninja Turtle games I've ever played in my life. Because the synergy, there was a lot of synergy combos, even amongst the brothers. They all had a special combo within amongst each other, which I thought was phenomenal. And I think they had a group one where each and every one of them lead the attack. And I thought like that was a Ninja Turtles game I think people could get behind if they borrow from those things. Because those games was, man,
I think those things are I don't want to say inevitable, but I think it's a matter of when, not if.
yeah.
Right. I think we're starting to see a more positive reception to one, the double A market, as well as these older IPs that are now getting the games that we would have liked to have seen at some point, but in the modern era, right? So, for example, when they unveiled like the Power Rangers beat 'em up,
Hmm.
it's like, yo, this immediately reminded me of the Super Nintendo games of like the side-scrolling Power Rangers beat 'em up. They transform. They're doing specials. They're fighting Goldar. It was a bit of a weird thing that was announced for PC only. I was like, oh, what? Like you see the Steam Deck logo and that was it. And I was like, so no console release? And I was like, I don't. I think that I'm starting to become a bit of a brand loyalist. Of like, if if an old IP side scroller beat 'em up does not say Dotemu anywhere in the title, I don't want it. So the fact that this game
Yo,
is being made by
yo,
somebody else, I'm like, and not the makers of Streets of Rage 4 or Shredder's Revenge. Yeah. Like that's just how I felt in the moment. But I was like, I think this market coming back is a great idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think. Listen.
I mean, I did like what I saw from Sonic and Shadow Generations. I just skipped to the marker
Mm-hmm.
with show me the Shadow gameplay. I like how they've expanded on Shadow. They've
Mm-hmm.
made him a different character from Sonic, like, but in a good way. Like even his, like I said, his homing attack, like he warps into you. I was like, oh, that is genius, because he's using the chaos control powers. And he still
Mm-hmm.
has the lightning that he shoots from his hands, the Chaos Spear, because that was actually a move he used on you in Sonic Adventure 2 when you were chasing him in the final battle. Like when you put
Mm-hmm.
space between them, he turns around and he throws this big lightning bolt at you. So like, even when they expanded on Sonic's moveset in Sonic May Cry, Sonic Frontiers, it's like, okay, like I'm glad that they're showing that yes, Sonic and Shadow have these abilities that when they're going at super fast, like they can hit you with like sonic booms and electricity and stuff like that. Like they're literally like the Flash is not the only person who could do these things. We can do these
Mm-hmm.
things as well. I love the nostalgia of the environments, bro. That bio lizard fight, bro. Like my heart was choking about like, bro, this is my childhood right here. I remember spending so much hours on the Dreamcast playing and that boss fight. So that really brought home. I'm very fearful that Shadow is now getting the Akuma and Virgil treatment. Like he's always behind a paywall now, technically, because in Sonic Forces he was DLC, and now technically this is like a remastered with DLC side story once again, and then even with Frontiers, the friends they're behind DLC. Yes, it was free. I was thankful, but then I kind of see like it's like now like. Sonic is like the main, he's the bread and butter for you to buy the game. But yes, we're going to sell you his friends.
I mean, it's. I can see that as like a potential fear, yeah, but it's too early to tell. If we're being honest,
Eh, they
this
already
is
on
the
strike
first
too.
time
They already on strike too, bro.
this is the first time in like 4 or 5 years that we've had a steady stream of actual good Sonic games. Like if
That's
we're being honest,
true. That's true.
Hey,
like
yup,
it's hard to be
yup,
like oh they're like if
yup.
let's keep it 100. Like we it's the quality has been on such a pendulum scale that it's hard to be like wow they always got to bring out so and so to sell the game. It's like bro let's breathe a
Sonic
sigh of relief that Sonic Frontier was even decent.
'06.
Yeah, like I can see that. I can, especially if Sonic 3 does well, I can see Shadow being the Virgil of the Sega franchise. I just think it's too early to tell. Like, if you're
Man,
gonna make Sonic Generations already a beloved game,
just
remastered,
give
you gotta
us
incentivize it somehow.
Sonic Adventure Battle 2 remake, man. Just give us that and go on from there. Go back to
Not
formula.
not even a remake. Give us the actual part, a next addition to the series. Because to be honest, I am tired of remakes. I'll be honest with you. I am. I'm tired of like the recycledness. I am. I would like to see either the Sonic, like I said, in a group chat, like maybe they do a reboot of the universe. I'm not saying the series, the universe, where
Okay,
they
I'll
pull
take
from
that.
where they pull from the comics. Because like I said, bro, I would love to see more of the animal characters. I was like, bro, like there's many days I see like, oh, here's Scourge the Hedgehog. Here's Violet the Panther, and it's like, bro, these are very interesting characters. And it opens up
Mm.
more villain variety because we even said it for this Knuckle series. Who is this dude? Who is this person? Because last time I checked, the only two major humans in the Sonic universe was Doctor Robotnik and the General of Gun. So it's like, who is this
Mm.
person? Who is this person?
That's a fire organization, by the way.
Yeah.
In the Sonic
Yeah,
universe, though,
yeah.
it's a dope, legit Team Rocket competitor.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, man, I would definitely like to see them like have more faith in the Sonic U. I mean, I think they're definitely building up. Like I said, Sega is definitely building up some good momentum. So I'm happy for them. I'm definitely going to buy it. It's just yeah, moving forward, man. We need something, man. But yeah, but what other games?
Did the Venom?
What other games
I was
from
gonna
this?
ask
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Did the Venom symbiote wings can scare you guys a little
It
bit with
did. It
Shadow with
did. It
him?
did. It did.
I'm like,
I was
okay,
like,
okay.
I don't know what that was, dog.
I was like,
I ain't gonna lie. I was expecting him to have like Mega Man suits. I thought he was gonna pull out high speed toolies. I thought
Oh
that was
yeah,
yeah. I thought he was
no,
gonna pull it out. I was
the
waiting.
throwaway gun.
no. To be honest, I feel that's
Yeah.
them. Like, cause with Shadow, like especially from Shadow the Hedgehog game and Sonic '06, every time they bring in Shadow, well, except outside of Heroes, Sonic Forces, they add some weird ass gimmick, bro. And I feel like they
Mm,
need to stop. The guns part was dumb. The vehicles was dumb. And then it's like, all right, bro, he already has chaos control powers where he can literally like use the chaos control power to fly, to warp.
mm,
And it's like, why does he need alien wings? Like, yes, we found out that he is technically part of that alien race through blood, but it's like, why? I was like, it was too much. It was too much. I was like, bro, what?
And them wings was trash, dog. Like
especially like Tim said, he can already fly. He can turn supersonic, which means he can fly even faster. Like, bro, what was the point of wings? Why does he need wings of all things?
It's just they gotta add some dumb gimmick, bro.
Oh,
And it's like, bro, I am tired of that. I am so tired of that.
yeah, that's crazy. Those board meetings
uh,
got to be the most interesting thing ever, dog.
bro,
Like,
I'm telling you, it's Colombian's finest just on the walkie. It's just like, whew, Spider-Man 2, Venom Wings, Shadow,
yeah,
yes.
yo, dog, yeah, straight '80s boy. That's an '80s era.
Get the coils out the boat.
we're gonna get, we're gonna get, whew, we're gonna get Shadow on a bike with an AK and an Uzi, one on his right, one his left, and he's gonna shoot. You mean the high speed hedgehog that can outrun a bullet? The guns go as fast as he goes. All right, that's what we're gonna do. That's the staple. That's where we put it. All right, that's the stick. All right, have it on my desk by Monday. Yeah, boy,
Dumb, bro.
powdered noses, boy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dumb.
that was
yeah.
ridiculous. Though. And I'm watching the trailer. I say, yo, this is bizarre. But I ain't really put much thought into it. But I'm like, yo, wait, Shadow's amazing, kid. Like he could teleport. Playtime is over. Warp, disappear. All his attacks. And I'm like,
Why
yo,
does he need
why
guns?
does he have wings, guns, and a motorcycle? Man, man, I still need to find that Game Informer magazine. That was one of my favorites.
I think to answer your question, Tim, about the games that caught my eye, um, I like I like stupid IPs. I'll tell you that right now. I like stupid IPs with fleshed out mechanics. That Killer Bean game to me looks like a must play. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a
I
fun looking game. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like when
yeah,
you see like they're trying to play like a game of like Squirrel Loaded Gun. I'm like, is this a day one purchase for me? Absolutely not. But I think those games like that remind you of like games are supposed to be fun at the end of the day. They don't have to be this overcomplicated, hyper realistic. It could just be silly. It could just be silly with some really good mechanics. There's a reason why Destroy All Humans did so well back in the PS2
That
era.
is
It
true.
was just, have you ever want to be an alien with a giant gun where you had the advantage in a town of people with pistols? Here you go. You know what I'm saying? Like the Killer Bean, I feel like caught my eye. I would say some of the notes I took down. Phantom Blade Zero actually getting gameplay was interesting.
Yes.
Um,
mm, mm,
yeah,
mm,
it's looking
mm,
promising. It's
mm.
looking very promising.
I
It's missing a little bit of flashiness in some of the finishers, in my opinion. Like when they show some of the ending combos, I was like, I need a little more, Metal Gear Vengeance razzle dazzle to it. But overall,
And the
I was
combat
pleased.
doesn't feel like it's gonna be like anything I've seen before because yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can play it like Devil May Cry, but he's parrying like his Sekiro, you know, with a
Mm-hmm.
meter. That's very interesting gameplay, man. Especially and then you can't button mash. Like you're gonna have to put in combos to for specific enemies, and I like that.
Hmm.
People
Mm-hmm.
want to stop thinking, but like no, you're gonna have to think. You have to, and I think that's what's gonna separate itself from other games. The fact that this is it's like Devil May Cry, but you're gonna have to create very good combos to kind of break
Yeah.
guards and whatever and so on and so forth. But
I think the aesthetic could use a little more color. Right. I think like the
Yeah.
blacks and grays. I was like, but overall, I was relieved. Though we saw from the cutscene trailer from last year, I'm like, okay, at least the gameplay is like you can mimic most of those movements in real time. I can't be mad at that.
yeah, they have a great animator. I don't know who their animator is, man. What them
Hmm.
animations, man, amazing. What else?
What were some of the games for you guys? Because I have one, maybe more game related question towards the end. So I want to know what caught your guys' eye
Oh, Phantom
before we
Blade
start to
Zero.
wind down.
Phantom
Mm.
Blade Zero, most definitely. Uh, I was extremely happy about that. Some what else was there? Some of the
Well, Star Wars Outlaws got a gameplay trailer.
Skip.
Metal Gear
so
Solid Delta
that looked better.
got a gameplay trailer.
It
I
looked.
was I
It
was
looked better.
it
It
looked
looked
better.
better.
It
It
looked
looked better.
better. I'll purchase it now. Now that I saw the camera view wasn't fixed, you could play nostalgic mode and you could play the new style. So that was good. I like that.
Okay. Okay.
So that's a purchase. It still
Um,
doesn't look better than the pachinko machines for whatever reason. I don't know why, but uh,
I would say for me, where winds meet, Phantom Blade Zero, and this Kunu Itsugami Path of the Goddess game. That was actually
Oh yeah, yeah,
very
yeah, 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 yeah. That was nice,
Did I
man.
miss that one?
Yeah,
I think
you
I missed
probably
that
did.
one.
You probably did.
no, because to be honest, they all have a very similar looking style. So it's kind of like you would have thought, like, am I still watching the same thing? The Alan
That's
Wake,
very possible that happened.
yeah, the Alan Wake trailer. I'm looking forward to that because I have played Control.
Yeah.
I played Control and I
Okay.
did enjoy Control. So I'm interested to see like if I want to get into the other side of the gameplay universe. I
hmm
wasn't impressed by the Lego Horizons game because I feel like, bro, this is such a gimmicky thing. I mean,
That was actually one of my
it's gonna
questions.
be it's gonna be fun for kids, but it's just like, all right, bro,
You know what the
whatever.
thing that I kept thinking as I was watching, I was like, this looks like you said, Tim, is like it looks catered to kids. It looks like it's going to be very lighthearted, and I think it's going back to what we said about Sony looking for ways to introduce a younger audience again. I
True.
think it's a good idea, right? But it's like, wouldn't Lego Uncharted maybe have been the better move than Lego Horizon? Like, because my thoughts are like Lego, especially Horizon Forbidden West, like it had such a divisive storyline, right? It's like, let's just say this is your intro pack for kids, maybe I don't know, 8 to 12, of like introducing Aloy to a younger audience. I'm sure the animated streaming spinoff is probably in the works right now for a Lego movie or whatever for that. But it's just like, is this the storyline you want to introduce to the kids as they get older? Like, oh man, Halo has a game for older people. Let me play. Wait, what? She has an identical twin clone sister. Wait, what? What? Her the person who she cloned from lover is trying to groom me to what? They're immortal. What virus? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this the? Do you guys feel like this was the Sony IP to get the Lego treatment out the
Nope,
gate?
nope, nope.
I think yes because it's still current. Yes, we love the Uncharted series, but that they've laid that series to rest. So they wanted something
Mm,
that is a bit more, I would say, new, or I would say open, because Horizon, the story is still open. I would say, God of War, you could tell like they've used this last one, even though I thought we was gonna get story DLC. Well, we technically did because he went to therapy,
hmm
but it could actually end right there. You don't have to see what Atreus and Atreus and the girl
hmm
go and do. You technically don't have to see that. You technically
hmm
don't. So, and I feel like that's them also saying goodbye to that universe because they did say the Norse one was not going to be a trilogy. They said that straight up, like, hey, yeah, this is it. So technically, God of War has come to a close, but
For now.
Horizon is still open. So yeah, it was gimmicky, but I see the importance of it. The game Unknown Nine. I remember seeing the first original trailer like I think it was like 2 years ago, and it was in like a very dormant place. I was expecting more from it. I mean, the world looks interesting, but I
hmm
just need to see more from that before I develop into that. But overall, man, Summer Game Fest to me, it was interesting. I was just glad to see some new stuff. Like I said, these are stuff that is coming fairly new. The Valorant coming to console, I was very surprised about that.
hmm
Because especially after what Sony announced with Concord, I mean that's a lot of competition. Is you still use there's too many of those type of games in the same
That's what I'm
ecosystem.
saying. That's what I
But
was saying.
like I said, bro, like people we still breed into this day. So a new person, that's a new subscriber. So let's but then this is also pitching like, all right, well, since Valorant is getting a console release, what is Concord going to do to stand out and be, hold its own presence? And that's what's really important.
hmm
Because yeah, when you play these games, bro, like yeah, everybody has this similar looking style. Oh, this person used fighter, this person is a gunslinger, but how is that going to differ?
Yep, yep. True, true.
That's a good point, bro. Like as you're saying, I'm like, man, there really is an overwhelming amount of shooter-esque games that are on the market.
Yep.
All of which are saying, play me and play me alone. Here's season pass 7. Like
Hmm.
it's to a point of like it has to collapse on itself at some point. I would
Oh,
imagine. I don't see how
I might be
it
picking up
can.
Stalker. I think I'm gonna pick up Stalker too.
Okay.
It just looks it just has that charm, that fresh, in-depth world that I quite don't understand. A foreign country and just
Mm.
the world seems to be something I'm in the mood for of getting into. Um,
Okay.
I was really impressed by Stalker. Very impressed by like just even the scenarios they placed you in. So yeah, I'll be
Okay.
playing that. I'll be playing that.
Okay. Now, fellas, as the last topic tonight, we would not be calling ourselves an anime and gaming podcast if there was no anime. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has a release date,
Don't care.
and the announcement of a season pass and Ultra Instinct Goku's in the base roster. They've been dropping a trailer every month and sticking to their guns of it being one of the most padded Dragon Ball rosters we've had in a modern game. Tim, I know you gave your thoughts already. You don't care. What do we think? It's coming out in October of this year.
Bro, when I saw the trailer and you saw like, oh yeah, 6 characters, I was like, you basically mean 3 versions of Gogeta and 3 versions of Super Broly. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, and this is what I was telling people. It's like, why are we going back to this era where we have to literally do those type of cuts? Like, I don't want to see Gotank's base level. I don't want to see Gotank's Super Saiyan. I don't want to see Gotank's Super. Actually, I do want to see Gotank's Super Saiyan level 3. But it's just like, and that's why I tell people, bro, Fighter Z got straight to the point. Get to the point. Like, yes, I miss those days of Budokai when you started off with base level Frieza and had in game transformations. To be honest, I
Mm-hmm.
think in game transformations are cool. Yes, bring that back, but to make these things an entirely separate character slot,
Listen.
that is you're telling me that that the fighting style is copy paste like da 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 da, and then here's
But
Somebody,
Tim,
I was talking to a buddy of
In the
mine.
comments, they're going to tell you that no, each character form fights differently. Tim, that's why they have a different slot.
No, yeah, oh,
oh
yeah. So they
oh
say it's from a different era. It's a different Goku. Goku doesn't fight like Goku who fought Frieza. Goku who fought Cell doesn't fight like Goku who fought Frieza.
yo.
Goku who fought Vegeta, Magic Vegeta, doesn't fight like Goku who fought Boo. You know what I'm saying? So that's the point. And for me, I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's their
you're
footnote.
right, you're right. You know, if you say Tree of Might Goku fights the same as Goku from Dead Zone, I'll be lying, right? But where is that Goku? Where is Power Pro Goku exactly?
Well,
You turn
apparently, Powerful
you
Goku is a
turn
pre-order
it.
bonus. I'm not joking. Dragon Ball Super Goku has a Power Pole pre-order bonus, and he has a Power Pole in his Super. So, yeah, yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't either. I don't either. Trust me. Oh my gosh. I don't, man.
I
Like, listen. Once I saw, I'm telling you. Listen, season. Get ready to see SS9 Pink Vegeta.
So that was my next question for you guys, right? So I think it's a bold. It's very. I'm curious. Let me say that the fact that they show that yes, Ultra Instinct Goku Jiren is going to be in the base roster and have a season pass. And one of the things I thought was interesting about the season pass is like, hey, the season pass is 20 characters in the season pass,
Copy,
and the first 2 characters are Gamma One and Gamma Two. So I'm like,
copy,
is it?
copy and paste.
But copying, but my question is copy and paste of what? You've covered all of Dragon Ball Z, you've covered all of Super, essentially. Who's the 20 characters that makes this season pass
I
roster.
think it's
Get
gonna.
Gohan,
I
obviously. Orange Piccolo,
I
obviously.
think
But who else?
I think it's going to be fill-in characters from the tournament of
Yachirobe.
power.
Yeah.
Fill-in
Yachirobe, Cyberman.
fill-in characters. Yeah, you never know. Cybermen, henchmen like the Cybermen and Cell
Henchman 1,
Junior.
Henchman 2, Raspberry.
And K characters.
You're gonna get Raspberry. You know who Raspberry is,
You're
right?
gonna you're gonna pay.
Also,
Yeah, I know.
GT characters. They might they might yeah sell.
I
GT
can see that.
Trunks.
I can see that.
Bro,
I can see that.
Pan is definitely gotta make it, man. Pan, yeah. Both Pans. 4-year-old Pan and Pan from GT.
I can see that actually.
Yeah. That's crazy.
that is
All the
crazy.
dragons, all the dragons from Omega Shenron, the trash dragons.
Good point.
All the
I can
dragons.
see them. I
Nah.
can see them doing the movies in
J-
DLC too. I didn't see. There's
yeah.
not a lot of movie characters in the base
Oh
roster.
yeah,
I can see the movie villains being in
Tur-
DLC.
Turles, Lord Slug, Android 13,
Garlic
BoJack.
Jr.
Yeah, that might be it right there. No, because
I
no,
just.
you just revealed a particular theme. Like, could you say Gamma 1 and Gamma 2? So they might just all be
Mhm.
movie characters, bro.
Yeah, it's true. Um
Yeah.
Cooler is gonna make a no after once they go heroes.
No,
Because, but the
nah,
thing that's
they.
weird though, right, is that because they have the movie version of Broly. Well, I guess technically Dragon Ball Super Broly as base roster. So I guess what movie Broly from Z is DLC?
Yeah,
Did
because
you not
remember,
see him in Xenoverse? He's a whole arc, a whole
I know,
story mode.
I know, I
You think
know.
they're not
That
gonna
was
do it?
ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And it's skinny Broly. I'm telling y'all think I'm playing? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yo,
skinny,
let's see,
skinny,
10.
skinny base Broly, Super Saiyan Broly, Super Legendary Super Saiyan Unlocked Broly. It's like,
Super Saiyan 4 Broly. Oh, we getting Cucumber. We're gonna get Hearts. We're gonna get General.
I don't think they can do hearts.
We getting Heart. You think they're not gonna?
I don't think they're gonna do Heroes because I feel like
Yeah,
Heroes is too gimmicky. I don't think a lot of people would want that because that's too much stuff that they're gonna just try to resell you, bro.
right. The only thing holding Heroes back, in my opinion, is that they don't. It's not as introduced in America.
Yeah,
Like Heroes is like we know because we're longtime Dragon Ball fans. The general populace doesn't know about Super Saiyan 3 Future Trunks. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know that these things are like
Yo,
legit
if
things.
that happens, it's gonna be over, man. These guys are gonna be like, the multiverse could never die. We're gonna give the multiverse theories and storylines 5 more years in an ecosystem of writing, and we don't want that. I'm glad it's not
And they,
translated in English, man.
yeah, they even teased that there's going to be a first time character to a Dragon Ball game in Sparking Zero, which I don't know. I think, and this is just, we always have to prophesy at least once a pod. I think there's this, I don't know if you guys remember, and this is such a niche thing that if you don't, I honestly don't blame you. But do you guys remember there used to be a Dragon Ball arcade game, a fighting game?
yeah,
Which one?
You know what I'm talking about? It was one is a very small roster. It's like Goku, Piccolo, Super Saiyan Goku, like Piccolo, Vegeta, and you would fight them in almost like a POV fight.
yeah. I remember.
Right. So at the end of that arcade rounds, there was an original villain that Toriyama designed called like Majin Odo or something like that. I'll send it to the group chat afterwards. And lately in Dragon Ball Heroes, he's been the new main villain of these game arcs that they've been making. And if
Is
you
he
guys
pink?
remember, he's pinkish. And if you guys remember, that's kind of how they introduced Hachiak into the games. Of like,
Oh my gosh, it's
there
over.
was this special, there was Dragon Ball Heroes. Then they started doing to the whole thing of like Dr. Raichi and the Tuffle's origin, and all of a sudden Hotjack was everywhere. I think this might be the era of Majin Odo, especially because Toriyama designed him. I
Yeah.
think that's the secret character. If I had to take a wild guess into the dark, because who else would they pick? Who else would they pick?
Ozoto. Yeah, he's definitely
Ozoto,
coming.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Majin Ozoto or Ozo. So yeah, him. It's I only remember this is how like super random it was. I think I was at you guys remember that what's the name of that pizza buffet place that closed down?
I
Um
know what you're talking about.
do you do like pizza and pasta unlimited?
Yeah. It's not. It's
I think it was CC's.
CC's.
No,
Yeah.
not nah, it wasn't CC's. It wasn't CC's.
Sweet
Belantes.
tomatoes.
Belantes. No,
Oh no,
Belantes. You guys
I
know
don't remember. No,
Belantes?
I never had Belantes. It sounds better than CC's.
No, it's no, bro.
Oh,
It's
oh.
buffet pizza.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
no.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, but Belantes, they had that. Belantes is how I got introduced to Metal Slug, and they had for a little while they had the Dragon Ball VR game, that one-on-one game, and I was like, what is this? I was into Dragon Ball, but I was like, who is this? Who is Majin Ozoto or whatever? And I think that's what they're gonna do as like the hidden character, quote unquote, for this game. But other than that, you guys have there's no interest, no remote desire to play this game, nothing about it, no nostalgia, nothing for y'all with this game.
Nope.
Jeez.
Nope.
I mean, when it's affordable, when it's like when
Nope.
it's on sale, I'm
Nope.
not $70 for that. Nah, man. What storyline I'm gonna play? I'm gonna play the Namek Saga for the 19th time. Y'all remember Dragon Ball Z sagas? If it came out like that, that'd have been a little different. But nope.
But Jory, one of the trailer components they said is that you can have. So apparently, I don't know to what degree, but they're bringing back what if stories. All right, so they showed a cutscene of Krillin being killed by Great Ape Vegeta and Goku going Super Saiyan during the Saiyan August arc.
Oh, Vegeta
Arc,
died.
right? Right. So they're doing what if, and apparently there's an online component where it's in this scenario, for example, Tim can create a scenario in which Cell revives Frieza during the Cell games, and now Goku and Gohan have to fight them. You can do like your own what ifs online. So it's not just strictly arc again.
Okay, that's actually kind of fun. I would accept that in a video game of Dragon Ball Z.
So Xenoverse elements, but in a different kind of way. Still
I'll
nothing. You
just
guys are just
I'll,
like,
I'll just look at it like the Cydia, you know. I'll just look at it like it's the Cydia. That's it. That's it.
okay.
That's it. Kid. Elden Ring is around the corner. Even though that junk is on October, kid. That's an investment. An investment.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna make that investment, man. Not now, at least. Not now, at least. I still have Final Fantasy 7 to beat with Rebirth right there and 16. So I'll be busy, and I
Oh,
got Grand Blue Fantasy
Relay.
Relink. I'll be busy for a while, and they just dropped some free DLC. I'll be busy for a while, and I still didn't even beat Dragon's Dogma because now I'm on this quest to where I gotta find a secret token, to where I gotta find the token that I first found in the game in order for me to fight the Sphinx. And if because I have 7 days in game to find it, and if I don't find where I first found the secret token, which could be anywhere in an open world game, and
hmm
there's 250 locations, either I kill her now, she leaves, and I never get anything, or I beat the game in New Game Plus. And then I have to start the game to remember where I got my first Seeker's token.
yikes.
Yeah, yo, kid, I'm a load, I'm gonna light that game up, ether style. Dog, it's coming. I'm already writing my script. Oh, it's coming.
Okay. So
It's
your
coming.
your gaming is occupied. As y'all know, I'm still moving in. So once I get my PS5 back, I'll be on the Resident Evil remake tour throughout the summer and fall for me personally, having never played the games ever. Tim, what about you?
Woo.
What are the games you'll be playing besides Sparking Zero?
I will be playing Under Night in Birth 2 because I definitely been looking forward to that title to really like get back into that. That was literally one of my favorite fighting games of COVID.
Mm,
Finish God of War because, like I said, I'm ready to like. I want to finish certain legacy titles. I bought
mm,
Mafia, the remake, the Mafia remake recently, so I'm looking forward to that. Because I started the series around Mafia 2 and I played 3, but I really want to play. All right, this they said this is the game that started it all, so I'm really looking forward to that. Finishing Spider Man. Like I said, bro, just finishing games, trophy hunting.
mm.
I need that boost. I need that boost
The achievement notification. Ah, yes. I feel you.
because
Okay.
you will. And depending how my cash is over the summer, I'll definitely buy Jedi Survivor. Because the completionist in me, I just need to finish it. I just need to buy it, get all the collectibles, and be done with it.
I mean, it's
Think
a great game.
It's a
you
great
should
game.
be
It
able
just
to
has
get it
a
on an Eba.
yeah, it's a great game. It just has a subpar last boss. That's it. It's a great game.
And to
I had
be
a great
honest
time
with
playing it.
you, that game that they're dropping should have just been Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, Outlaws.
Should have just mixed the two. Call it a day. I go on
Mm,
bounties, make it more in depth. This would have made Star Wars not laser tag Sekiro. It would have made it very different.
mm,
I
I think
think.
that's what
I
Fallen
think.
Order needs.
I think. I mean, well, since it's by Ubisoft, I do feel like yes, it should have been Bounty Hunter related, but it's just like, bro, we went from a game about Django Fett in the PS2 era to this, like how you said, a protagonist with a cute, cuddly sidekick for a game.
Star Wars.
copy paste.
And that's what I said. That's what I was saying. Like, yo, there's nothing that this animal's doing that BD1 couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
BD1 now is a complete man. R2D2 not seeing homie on one
Right.
on one.
R2D2 is ancient tech at this point. It's
It's not looking good, man. It's
well,
not looking good for
yeah.
certain
Well,
LBs.
I think we'll deep dive into that for another. I think that more so the game and just the concept of the Star Wars gaming universe deserves a little bit more time for another pod. Of like, I think Outlaws is a sign of something greater in a bad way. Of like the Star Wars universe is so interesting that it shouldn't just be relying on Fallen Order sequel every couple of years to maintain the gaming universe. But yet that seems to be where we're at. Like even the last Lego Star Wars just wasn't it. It was like this was, you know. I still haven't beaten it. I got it on Switch on sale, and I'm like, it's still sitting there. Like I think I made it to like episode 4, and I was like, I think I'm good right now. It's just
I think
the
it's
Star Wars gaming universe is just
I think it's also time for another Battlefront.
Nope,
oh
nope, nope.
mm.
It's not happening, dog.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another pod, bro. Because I make sure they can keep it, please.
I mean, hey, listen. Don't get me wrong. I wanted it to exist. I really wanted it to exist, but
Yeah.
what they did
After
with
1 and 2,
what they
yeah, I'm
did
like, if
with
this is what
that,
you're gonna do with it, if this is what we're doing, you can keep it. I don't want it. If we're not gonna do this right, I don't want it. I'm fine.
I understand.
Even the remaster pack they released was glitchy. I'm like, it's okay. It's fine.
and it was so
It's
bad. You guys tried to release a Star Wars Squadron game because yeah, whatever y'all was planning didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, because oh yeah, that's what I said. Because I was like, bro, why does this feel like this should have been for the Battlefront game? It's like,
Yeah, kid. I mean, it's right there. It is. Yeah, I can. The rest of this paper is burnt. Let me just cut off the good parts of the pizza.
Right. Trying to salvage it. This crust is still a
Yeah,
little tasty.
yeah. Like it's so obvious. Like, yo, okay, this definitely was supposed to be a part of the game. How you selling me this? Yeah, they just look at the Star Wars Squadron game. And it's not like we were planning to make this game at all. Like we were always planning to make.
Right, but we're selling it to you guys for $30. That's not weird. Uh, what?
Yeah, man. They definitely
But
salvaged that game, man.
yeah, well, all right, fellas. This has been another episode of the Press Start Select podcast. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful topics tonight. I'm glad we were able to kind of cover mostly everything amazingly in one episode. Once again, for all of our listeners, watchers, subscribers, commenters, thank you guys so much for the feedback, positive, neutral, or otherwise. To the people that's
Mhm.
saying that our Xbox comments is like, no, I got something for y'all. But for everyone else, thank you guys so much for continuing to support us, subscribe, share,
Excuse
show
me, man.
love.
Yes,
And
yes.
this has been
Subscribe. Like and subscribe. We need you. Without you guys, we would not be here. We enjoy coming
absolutely.
together, giving a podcast, coming together, talking about games, passions that we love. And yeah, just join us, man, so we can give you more material. Like and subscribe. And till next time.